This video will show you how to subtract numbers. Now when subtracting numbers, to make it a little bit more fun, I like to give numbers personalities. So there's three things that you need to know about numbers, and there are different personalities. The first thing is that numbers try to take from each other. The second is that you can't take away from numbers if they don't have enough to give. And third, numbers are kind of greedy, and you'll see why as soon as we do this video. So when subtracting, you'll always start from the ones column and then move your way up. Now basically what's happening is these downstairs numbers are trying to take from the upstairs numbers. Now you'll notice that the upstairs number will always have to be your larger number, and your downstairs number is always a smaller number, because your upstairs is on top and your downstairs is on the bottom. So you start out by starting in the ones column, and the 2 asks to take away from the 3. So the 2 says, "Can I have 2?" So the 3 takes away 2, so 3 minus 2 is 1. Then we move out over to the ones column. The tens column. In the tens column, the 7 says, "Can I take away 7?" And the 4 says, "Well, I wish, but I only have 4 to give." And then the 4 says, "I'll just ask my neighbor." So the 4 knocks on 1's door and asks the 1 to borrow. 1 says, "Fine, you can take, but only 1, because like I said, numbers are kind of greedy." So the 1 donates his only 1 and turns himself into a 0. And the 4 gains that 1. Now what you're asking is, what is 14 minus 7? And 14 minus 7 is 7. Sometimes when subtracting numbers, they cooperate really well, the upstairs and the downstairs. Sometimes all you need to do is have the downstairs numbers ask the upstairs numbers, and they'll give right away. So the 2 asks to take away 2 from 9. And the 9 says, "Okay, 9 minus 2 is 7. Then the 4 asks to take away from the 9, and you get 5. And there's no other downstairs numbers to ask, and so that 1 just cooperates and comes right down. Now in this case, you didn't have to borrow, and you didn't have to deal with greedy numbers, because the top numbers were large enough to have the bottom numbers take away from it. Now sometimes when subtracting numbers, the numbers don't cooperate as well, like when there's a lot of zeros on the top. So what the problem is when the downstairs number, like number 4, starting from the ones place, asks the upstairs number to borrow some, the upstairs number says, "Well, I only have 0, and you have 4. I can't take away 4 from 0. So this 0 says, "Well, I'll go ask my neighbor." So he knocks on his neighbor's door, and he asks his neighbor to borrow some. And this neighbor says, "Well, hey, what do you think I am? I only have 0 too." So then this 0 goes, "Well, I guess I'll ask my neighbor." So this 0 knocks on this neighbor's door, and the 2 says, "Well, fine, you can borrow, but only 1. Because, like we know, numbers are kind of greedy. So this 2 turns into a 1 because you're taking 1 away. This 0 now turns into a 10. Now this 0 over here is getting kind of impatient, and he says, "Okay, 0, okay, I'm going to ask my neighbor again." And he goes, "Hello, can I borrow that? Can I borrow 1 now that you have 10? And the 10 goes, "Well, yes, but you can only borrow 1 because numbers are greedy." So this 10 now turns into a 9. And this 0 turns into a 10. Now the 4 can finally borrow from the 10. So now 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 1, because remember our 9 is up there, that's how many's left. 9 minus 1 is 8. And 1, with nothing on the bottom, just comes right down. Now that you know how to subtract, go ahead and post to the Google form on the class website.